Okay. Counter question to somebody like Sanjay, if I can go over. So if now I'm going to be a little more positive. We're going to bite back from COVID, right? That's an absolute yes from all colleagues. If it is a yes, raise your hands, please. So I know that you're listening. Okay, great. Now, if we take this forward, what is that basket of skills or attitude that you are asking for from our educators, which is going to accelerate your company? Just name one or two skills or one or two attitudes that you absolutely want them to give you post-COVID to grow faster. To grow faster than the Marriotts and the Tajes and the IHGs.
Let me speak for the industry rather than for ITC.
So you're a politician, Sanjay. Well done. Congratulations.
Okay, so here it is. I mean, I agree with Pansa to a large extent. See, what's been happening with our education system is we have been, spewing excellent hoteliers from mid-70s, and India used to be the talent pool from where hoteliers used to go all across the world and do well. And so that happened, still continued in the 80s and the 90s. In the 2000s, we have seen that people are moving out to other industries and maybe hospitality internationally, but the cream seems to prefer other industries rather than staying back in India. I mean, we all discussed that. Couple of thoughts on that before I specifically answer what's there in future for us. See, what's happening is hotels have been changing the face. The business itself is changing its face. So when earlier you used to focus on the traditional operational departments of F&B, housekeeping, kitchen, front office, the need now is for industry-ready talent to come to us, which are more aware, let's say, of areas like revenue management, for areas like digital marketing. There is a need for students who come out, they are ready with applications knowledge. So a person who I hire from, let's say, for example, as a chartered accountant who's completed his chartered accountant degree, he's totally loaded with the technical skills and he's ready to go from day one. Here, what's happening is, while we come with academic knowledge and conceptual knowledge, we seem to have missed out on some subjects which have evolved recently. So it will be a great thing to see academics, including those as part of the curriculum, and making students more ready. The other part is the applications bit. See, we are very lucky to have a curriculum where 6 months to 8 months is on-the-job industry exposure. Now, the problem is everybody gets the same kind of exposure, by and large, which is at the bottom of the pyramid level. You get to do work which is, for lack of a better word, unskilled or semi-skilled, and it does not help you prepare to be a manager. So maybe for us, we need to look at 2 or 3 tiers of students that we take in for this on-the-job exposure. The top tier obviously would be selected to become future managers, future general managers, etc., and you start very early. The next tier could be the people who come in at an application level, so your F&B executives and so on, your future F&B executives. So you give an exposure of that kind, and then of course there's the bottom tier which is skill-based, and so on. So I think for us, both as industry people and as academics, we need to think this through. Again, supporting Pansa, 20,000 passing out every year with hotel management colleges. All chains put together, we hire 500 management trainees in a year. So what happens to the balance 19,000 and odd who have studied to be managers, but the jobs which are available are those of stewards and so on. So yes, so having said that, in future, what I see, Yati, is happening now, we are trying to retain the Indian warmth, the Indian hospitality, which it's been famous for, but the contact is going to be less. And that inevitably translates to a lot of technology, a lot of AI-based interventions, a lot of IoT which is going to come in, a lot of remote working which is going to come in. So if I had to ask one thing of academicians where they should start getting students ready, is to start educating them on technology applications which are going to be forerunners. I think all the contact that we used to have, which used to be physical, in person, is going to move offline to a large extent. And our students need to be ready with that. The good thing is, they don't come with a baggage of us hoteliers who have spent decades in the industry, where looking at a person in the eye and giving a smile in person is what hospitality is, right? So if that's the case, I think the students today have a huge advantage that they're coming into an industry which is fast changing, which is going to be more technology driven, more remote driven, retaining the same warmth. So I think this lack of baggage is going to help the students, current students, do exactly what you're talking about, coming back with a bang. And I think people like Dilip, Pansap, we are counting on you a lot to get students into that kind of mind frame and give them the technical skills.
Can I react to that, Yati?
Well said. In any case, the next question was yours. So first react to it. And after you finish reacting to it, tell me how you're upping the tech component in your education. And where do you see the balance? Yeah. Because yes, I want the tech, like all of us are going to use less touch, but how do I make the touch a premium connect?
Yeah, so, I think coming to what Kamal said a little earlier, indeed, our programs are a 4-year degree. You were the one responsible for having us certified as an EHL school. When you look at the stats of EHL, you look at the stats of IHM Pusa, I think each year, lesser and lesser students are opting to go into mainstream hospitality. Even if they are going into hospitality, they don't want to go into operations. They want to do, as Sanjay said, revenue management or digital marketing or some of those kind of things, right? The reality is that our education is creating transferable skills in people, which should allow them to be mobile across sectors. We're a very young institution. Our students have just, one batch has done internships, but we surveyed them when they came back, and less than 30% of them said that they want to work in the hospitality industry and be a general manager. Many of them aspire to be entrepreneurs, techies, startups, all those kind of things as well. But again, I come back to it. Do we have the complex saying, oh, we should only prepare students for our industry? We should be taking people from all over, as Dr. Murthy said earlier, and bring them into our industry and integrate ourselves with mainstream businesses, including FMCG businesses. The point I want to react to what Sanjay said is, when you take people as interns, Sanjay, the challenge is as much from the industry side. When interns come to hotels, they are given only menial tasks to do. So when you expect them to get exposure to, something more, that onus has to be on the industry. We can provide you with the students, you interview them, you take the best caliber, but then they are made to do menial, mundane tasks, and it puts them off the industry. They come back from their internships and said, we don't want to work in hospitality. I think that's an area which has to change, and it's a mindset change required. And look, as I'm pointing fingers at everybody, 4 fingers point back at me. I mean, I was as guilty of doing this when I was in the industry as well. So that was reacting. When it comes to technology, I can tell you that the whole concept of blended learning, and particularly accelerated by COVID, is here to stay. And it is the best thing that could have happened to our industry, because there's so much of theory and there's so much of content which is easily teachable in a blended asynchronous manner. The professor does not have to waste his time teaching you Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I mean, that's something you can learn through an asynchronous course. What the NEP has done, which is now allowing students to take electives, that's where the real opportunity is. For example, when you asked about technology, we've introduced coding as a compulsory course from semester 1 for every student joining. So they do a basic coding course in their first semester, and then depending on their interest and their ability to adapt, they will do intermediate and advanced coding courses throughout their 8 semesters. And you never know, you have hospitality graduates graduating with some great technology skills. And those are technology skills which are sorely needed in our industry for the future. Not just for touchless, contactless, but to just develop that cognitive thinking which a graduate profile from classical hotel management schools does not have. And it is so much a practice in the West. I mean, Lausanne, Yati, which you're so familiar with, that the program is designed to complete this practical F&B housekeeping front office, Sanjay, which you talk about. That's done in the first year. After that, the program is more or less a BBA program. You're learning every business subject, including hospitality subjects of revenue management or digital marketing. And I think that's where we need more focus, so that when these graduates come to you, they can hit the ground running. And by the way, students in 4-year programs do 2 internships. The first one is considered to be an operational practical internship, but when they come back in their 3rd year, that's the time the industry must be looking at them to say, can we put them into specialized areas, be it revenue management or be it marketing or be it even finance, where they may have an aptitude for. Like, we're introducing a course from ICFAI into
I think he had an electricity blowout. We've lost him, but he looks pretty. We'll carry on and we'll come back to Dilip as soon as he's on back connected with us. But a quick question to you, Rajesh. I mean, we've talked about the doom and gloom of losing jobs. We've talked about talent or people getting retrenched and coming back. When do you see the reverse happening? Because and then of course to our colleagues in India, when are we going to go get jobs back into the GCC to begin with, and into all parts of the world after?
I think, Yati, before I come to that question, I have been making some aggressive notes as I've seen
Go for it.
The panelists talking. First I want to talk about the fear of losing talent to other industries. Personally, I think it's a very good thing to have. It keeps the industry on its toes. And it kind of forces us, it compels us to look outside the industry and get in the best practices into the hotel industry. For example, my own understanding of where what the biggest challenge for the industry is the work-life balance. So the youngsters today are looking for a good work-life balance. They want to have good quality of life. And whilst a 5-day work week may be a given across all other industries, looking at hotels, it's still a challenge to put it in. We introduced a 5-day work week in IHG last year, and it was quite a challenge to push this through. So if we need to be attractive, to the younger generation, to the younger talent, we need to benchmark our practices with the rest of the industry. And to GS's point, be a preferred employer, not because we are hotels, but because we offer best both in terms of quality of life as also career progression. And the second point of student expectations and paradigms, I did see Kamal talk about, student expectations. Now, Kamal, our programs, our institutes are called Institutes of Hotel Management. So when a student joins an institute, he or she is wanting a return on investment in terms of a good job and a return on ego in terms of a manager's designation. So somewhere down the line, we need to set the expectation correct, back in school, so that when they come to the industry, they kind of understand what the industry can offer them. And there's no harm in joining at any level in the hierarchy, because we've seen examples of people joining wherever, but doing some great jobs and growing exceptionally well in their careers. Now to your question, Yati. Sorry, I did go off track.
No, very well spoken. I think what you made a point is excellent. There may be an issue about managing expectations of our youth as they join, from both sides, from our academic side or academia as we present it, as well as industry. And I to some extent, the new education policy started talking about it. If we talk about it, hopefully we will arrive at it someday. And I'm hoping that implementation happens faster than it is. But yeah, now to the core question. Are we getting jobs back? And when are we getting jobs back? When do we come to Dubai to present our CV to you?
Yati, the good thing I like to share here is the fact that there are some early signs of recovery across the GCC. We've seen hotel companies now who are reopening hotels, of course, with enhanced health and hygiene guidelines. However, I think to be realistic, the recovery is going to be slow. The reality is that there are some of the hotels that are still closed, and some hotels may not be able to reopen this year owing to certain restrictions with regards to travel. Local restrictions. Another challenge, I think it's important to talk about another challenge here, is the fact that, given the slow pace of business recovery, hotels and companies, across industries now are focusing on rationalizing their operating costs. They are focusing on workforce optimization, on efficient talent management. And this would then mean that in the existing hotel estate, I will repeat, in the existing hotel estate, there may be lesser jobs tomorrow than they were in the pre-COVID era. However, I would not leave it there. Needless to say that hotel companies, and IHG including, are continuing to sign new hotels and open new hotels, and thus there are opportunities being created across GCC and across India. In India, in the last quarter, we've opened 3 hotels. So whilst there may be talent losses from the existing estate, there are opportunities that are coming up as organizations are expanding.
Coming to you, Gurmeet, you very well said. In fact, I have an old batchmate of mine who opened a hotel which is part of your flag in Calcutta. And he sent us pictures saying, I opened it and I don't care, and it's going to stay open. And when I asked him why, at this time, he says, I'm tired and I don't care. Let COVID be, my associates have to get going. Of course, with due safety precautions, etc., etc. So that was to some extent, fatigue creeping in and saying, now we will take our destiny in our own hands. Off to you, Gurmeet. You had something to say, Captain Saab? Microphone. You'll have to unmute yourself, please. You'll have to unmute yourself, please, Gurmeet. We can't hear you. Okay, we've lost him. Dilip, we'll go back to Gurmeet. He seems to have connectivity issues. You're back. So take up from where you were, please. Microphone again.
I'll quickly complete the technology that I was talking about. So blended learning is here to stay. I think it's a real opportunity for students, for industry, where you can do part of your entire curriculum, part of it in campus. So in campus, you do all your practical studies, but you can clearly have digital modules to teach you almost every other subject. Institutions must create the infrastructure for virtual classrooms. We already have it. We spent inordinate amounts of money in building up our server space and capacity. Today, we delivered about 2,000 hours of learning in the 4.5 months of COVID to our students. Every single session is recorded and available to students to refer to when they want to go back to that subject, even though they've learned it online. I think the new age and the new generation of learning management systems, today we are upgrading ourselves to something called a learning experience platform, much better user interface, more user-friendly. How the learner uses it, the algorithm and the AI allow you to push more content towards the interest of that learner. And that's what institutions in education all over are beginning to do globally. And I think for hospitality schools, it's imperative for us to embrace that as well. And the best part about blended learning is that you finally bring about equality in the learner. Otherwise, as a teacher, if I'm teaching 50 students in a class, I know that they all 50 don't learn at the same pace. Somebody learns faster, somebody learns slower. When you are able to create these digital modules and allow them to learn asynchronously, they can learn at their own pace. When they come back into the classroom for a synchronous class with the professor, they are far more balanced in terms of the understanding of that concept which you've taught them than if the professor has to spend 2 hours in the classroom. So I think technology adaptation is almost an imperative for all institutions, whether in hospitality or otherwise, but certainly for industry, there is a real opportunity. And don't forget, what COVID has done is created a habit of online learning. Whether it is a student, whether it's a working professional, I think all our LinkedIn feeds, we can see everybody proudly saying, I did this certification, I did that course, I got this qualification, right? Now, the point is pre-COVID, it was a nice to do thing. During COVID, it's become a necessary to do thing. And I think that habit will remain. And how brilliant is that? Because it will mean that we can all continuously learn through our careers. If a student's adapted to online learning as a student, as a working professional, he or she will continue to want to consume more learning online. The online space is going to get richer and richer with much more content, which will be relevant for the future in the post-COVID era. So I think tech has just a huge place to play in education and for the industry as well.
Can I?
So KK, go ahead.
Just a quick point.
Sorry, Gurmeet had something to say. Otherwise, Sanjay, go ahead first.
Just a quick point to Dilip.
Okay. Go ahead.
You know, Dilip, one of the dangers of online learning is it takes away the practical application piece. You know, in our business,
Which
it is about...
is why I said blended, Sanjay. Blended means you're doing the practical part in campus, but you can do a lot of it online as well. I agree with you. You can't take practical learning online right now. In time to come, you can, by the way, but we'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
The other point which I thought I'd make is, you know, if you look at your MBA courses, or for that matter, let's look at something like a chartered accountant, if I look at the hotel management equivalent, we prepare our students to be very good professionals. The technical part is good, but I think there is a space to create more business managers. You know, all the guys who are going to become managers tomorrow are going to have P&L responsibility. So how do you look at it? The business from a commercial lens is something which needs to start early. And I think today what's happening is they pass out from a hotel management course, they do their handle restaurants, their duty managers, and then they start picking up some of this business of developing commercial acumen, which happens on the job. So I think from an industry readiness perspective, it's important that we also look at preparing business managers along with the technical skills as part of courses.
With you, Gurmeet.
Thank you. You know, I want to pick up a couple of things which I picked up from the sessions yesterday and day before. One was that it was very heartening to know that out of every 12 people walking on the streets in India, one is associated to the hotel industry in some way or the other, or travel industry. The other one, I'm very optimistic that the pandemic is not there forever. So I don't want to plan too much. We don't want to create hospitals actually. That's one of the panel which Dilip was moderating yesterday. Hopefully we're not going to make hospitals. We are still hotels. We are still service industry. So if you go too deep into that, if last year hospital, I have a chief executive of Hirandani Hospital who lives next to me. He used to come to me to tell him to teach him how they can bring in patient care like hotel does, or how can they facilitate their meals or facility management. And today I am going to them. The times have changed. That please teach me how to sanitize my hotel or how to keep myself. But this is a temporary phase, and I don't think so. We should overthink or overplan. Entire world is after getting a vaccine. Once the vaccine comes, I think pandemic will be laid behind, unlike any other thing. The one thing which I feel we can, as an industry, we can do is, you see, it takes 5.5 years for us to make an assistant manager at 35,000 rupees salary. That's too long a time for investment. Even an IIM Ahmedabad graduate gets 10 times more stipend and money, but and spends lesser fees in the college, but his employability is 10 times more higher. We are still there. It took me 5 years to become an assistant manager. How can the current generation millennium ask me to come and have the audacity even to ask and say to promote me? What we need to do, we have to trust our administration. Colleges, teachers, excellent. They are the best available. They have taught them what is the high size of the highball glass, how to make a service, or how to make the mother sauce. Now we have to make them into professional, to what Sanjay was saying, business leader. That is where I think there is a gap in the industry. We are still treating them, to Dilip's point, we started in Marriott something called as a Marriott internship. And we didn't give stipend at 1,200 rupees or 500 rupees. We were the first company to pioneer to start the stipend as 5,000 with a mandate to the properties that they will not peel garlic or lift banquet tables. So we have to get out of that myth that what worked 15 years back may not work now. Industry has evolved. Today people want clean room, good bed, and internet connectivity. That is where they are judging us as service. And I think the graduates which the institutes are producing, we need to be a little more flexible in bringing them as business leader much faster than 15 years old curriculum that you have to be 2 years as a management trainee. You become a doctor in 4 years. You become an engineer in 4 years. But to become a hotel, restaurant manager, or assistant manager, or lobby manager, it's 5.5 years. 4 years in the college and then 2 years management. Maybe that paradigm shift has to take place, and this is the time to introspect and use the pandemic to come out stronger in the industry.
So two questions to two different people, but they are linked. First one is to Kamal. How does a youngster who's in school identify a good institution to move on to? So how do I choose IHM Pusa, or how do I choose IHM Pusa? And then onwards from there to Dr. Ramanamurthy is to say, listen, what's the career message that I can get from an industry professional like yourselves to those who are joining or looking at a hotel school? Kamal, you go first, and Dr. Murthy after, please.
Thank you. People choose IHM Pusa over many other institutions, and the reason that it at number one by different publications for more than 10 years in a row, the reason is the legacy that Mr. Bhuvnesh was enumerating a few names, who are graduates of IHM Pusa. I will not be exaggerating if I say that maybe a third of all your panelists, all 15 teams, are Pusa graduates. Raj Menon, KB Kachru, Mandeep Amba. You just have to tell, which batch. So they are graduates of IHM Pusa. So I think if an institution, apart from the legacy that the institution would be, since education that one is rendering, and then say, the physical evidence. So if the environment created by the institution is good, if the spaces are available, the academic spaces, the co-curriculars are very, very important. You go to any IIM or XLRI or these august institutions in the country, vibes, when you enter these institutions, the temples that we had in our countries, something cosmic is there in those environments. That kind of an environment is there in an institution. That is very, very important. And more importantly, we are in India, which is traditional education. There is a lot of emphasis on that. I feel still important thing in education is the faculty, how your guru is, how your teachers are, what their experience is. And more than the experience, what I feel is what their commitment level is. We in government, we are very careful, we see that people, when they are joining us, they have got that neck for teaching, they have that value for teaching, rather than, coming for a government job or a easy, cozy kind of a job. So people, how committed they are. And I'm glad, what makes IHM Pusa is that we have many people come here as a passion for education. A penny. I still have some people from this place, and they say, well, if you want us to fill it, we are ready. So that is the kind of people, and many people are becoming like that. Another important thing is that certification that you are getting, what university you are affiliated with. That is very, very important. The brand, the institution has a brand, and if you are not a degree awarding institution, then what is the company? That is very, very important. And last thing is the curriculum. What curriculum one is, because nowadays everything is available on the internet. Compare, the curriculum has to be inspiring and it has to be challenging, because education is a stressful activity. Along the way there has to be some fun element along the way. So important thing. So I think these are the kind of and last thing, not the least, nowadays there are certain things which are content oriented, and then there is a form. There are many institutes which are very good in projecting certain things, but at the core I don't think there is a lot of substance which is there. So it has to be both, content as well as form, has a healthy mix of both. That would make a kind of utopian kind of an educational institution for hospitality. Pleasure of seeing some of the best institutions. I had one stint at the Shatek in Singapore. That was the qualification I picked up. I went to school in the follow 2000.
I'm sorry, Kamal, we're losing you. We're losing you on content, but Kamal says that he's been to Shatek and he says he's been to EHL in Lausanne. And I know that, and we've seen him because I know both of these institutions at some stage or another.
Yeah.
Kamal, we'll hold you for the moment because of connectivity, and we're short of time. So,
Right.
Last question to Dr. Ramanmurthy. What's your message to youngsters who are thinking of going to a hotel school? Is this worth going, not going? What should we do?
Yeah, no, I just want to say that whatever we are experiencing now, the COVID scenario, this shall pass. This is momentary. It could be there for 6 months, a few more years than 6 months, whatever. So my message is first to the parents of the students. See, I have seen that many of the parents don't really aspire to send their kids to hotel management institutes. My message to them, if you want your children to be good human beings, humble, well-groomed, with best of behaviors and with best of career going forward, I think you must be sending your students to the hotel management institutes. As regards the students, again, I would say that this is momentary and this is seen as an opportunity by the industry experts, whether it is academicians or HR people or the business heads. We are all seeing this as an opportunity, and we want to build several other aspects, whether it is executive education or business acumen, and we will be competing with any other industry in future. That is what we are gearing up to. So my advice to the students is just come and join in any of the institutes and make your career in the hotel industry. And the final one to the industry, it should not remain just as a talk show. We all should, come together and work towards taking this as an opportunity and creating a better future for the talent in hospitality industry. That's what I
Very
would
well
say.
said, thank you. And I think he speaks on behalf of a lot of us, saying this is a fun industry. We've thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. For those of us who've done a few years in the game, I think Gurmeet started it off early by saying how much fun he's had. I'm opening up to questions. Bhuvnesh, are there any questions that are coming in from the audience? If there are, we can take them on now.
There is this question, lockdown is a watershed time across industries, not just hospitality. Point is, hospitality along with F&B is one of the largest employers. Isn't it time for HR heads across domestic and international chains to come together as one body, create a pool of the employable so that job losses are mitigated and kitchen fires keep burning? Would you want to do that as a group and bring others in?
That was a good question. I think Dilip started the ball rolling on this earlier, where he says we could create something, and most of our industry colleagues kicked in and said, yes, great idea. Anybody else wants to contribute to that? Any more words on that area? Go ahead, Major sir.
Well, Yati, I'll come in here. Like I did mention that each one of us have our own alumni networks and our stay in touch programs. I think we need to look at a platform where all of us can come together, and how do we interface all these alumni networks? Because the end objective is to kind of go look beyond our own companies, and even beyond the industry, and look at broadly what is it that we can do, for that workforce that today needs our help.
Talk to us at ISH, we can help you.
He's marketing again, be very careful of him. But I see, Bhuvnesh, this may be a message for you, because on your screen it says you're CEO of BW Communities, and what we're talking about is creating a community. And you being the person around getting all of us together, this may be an opportunity for you to see how we link up and take it forward.
So I can do a job fair over here. So I could do anything, use my reach, use my platform. You tell us and we'll be there. I mean, I would only be too happy to.
That's a great suggestion. So let's keep that, and we see how we build on this as we go forward. Any other questions? Yeah. I see something else.
So that's about it. My next session is running. Right. You may want to sum up the session.
Good. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank these 6 superstars for their time and for their words, each coming from a different angle, but pretty much saying the same thing, that this COVID is a blip. Talent is permanent and talent is precious. And as we see this We will bounce back, talent will bounce back, but be very careful. If you've treated your talent with values, even on the way out, they will look for those values and come back faster to you. So building value-based organization seems to be the big message coming through, which is where they are driving it. Great message from Dilip to say, let's create an exchange, but also let's create a method where we mainstream hospitality education onwards, not just for our industry, but for everybody to prosper. And it's absolutely true that here is an industry which I've enjoyed all my life, where we have huge focus on soft skills. And in the next 10 years or 15 years as we go forward, that whole soft skill component is going to shine. The rest, hard skills, are going to be outsourced to robots. So, keep enjoying the soft skills, celebrating them, and the future is only looking better and better soon as we get over with the COVID blip. That's it. Thank you very much, gents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to you, Yati, for doing
So,
it.
very much.
I think it's been an amazing session, and I'm sure everybody on the screen will agree that Yati has been a brilliant moderator. Great. He's held the session 10 on 10.
You're kind. Thank
You're
you
a
very
rock
much.
star, Yati.
Very well
Right.
done. Very well done.
Together, right? Extremely good moderating. What an anchor! That gives me ideas. I shall do more with you. Having said that, we have the best, the very best 10 on 10 stars, as Yati said, of our industry. HR, I couldn't have asked for better, with Dr. Ramnamurthy, Sanjay, Major Chauhan, and of course Captain Gurmeet Singh. You don't get better HR heads than these in our industry. Sure, I'm sure there are others, but these guys are brilliant, right? I'm sure everybody is looking at them. And then amongst educationalists, we have the best from the government education, right, which is the IHM Pusa, and today budding star of the private education industry in Dilip Puri. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing space with us. God
Thank you
bless
very much.
you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
for having us
Bye-bye.
here.